Hello and welcome to the Unwanted Opinion podcast, the show in which me and my friends give our unwanted opinion on all things film. My name is Lewis and I'm joined today with Kyle.
Hello.
Hello, and only Kyle. Gonzalo once again all of a sudden just went, no, I can't do today,
Well,
bye. Uh,
no, that's unfair. He had a work commitment that he just
yeah, well,
overran.
I quit your job for this, Kyle. It's not hard. How much do you get paid doing this, Kyle? Way more than
Uh,
you could earn in another job.
Officially, we cannot say due to tax reasons.
That's
But
true, that's
you
true.
know,
Because we are tax evading, so if we put it
no,
out
no, we're
here, what
not.
we're
Just in
doing.
case anybody listens to HMRC, I get paid nothing. I swear. Please
Yes,
don't.
this is purely a hobby, purely a hobby. As per usual, I should really just stop saying what we're going to do every week because, well, to be
It's been
fair,
a couple
we
of
were meant
weeks.
it's been a couple week break to be fair. I mean, I said we're
Yeah.
going to do Alex Garland's films because Civil War came out, but that time is kind of past now. So instead, on this week's episode, because Challengers releases tomorrow or today, whenever this podcast comes up, we're going to talk about our favorite sports films. From the entire plethora of what there is out there, we're talking about sports films. But first, Kyle, once again, we're going to do a trailer breakdown and discussion
Yes.
of Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, another one. We've two in a row. I think we did this the Joker 2 on the other week.
Yeah. Well, we're
Was
doing
that?
a bit fancier this time. Well,
Yeah,
if you're
we
watching on
are.
YouTube, it's a bit more fancy.
If
If
you're
you're
watching
on
on YouTube,
Spotify,
we actually have
I'm
a breakdown.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
But
going to be listening. You're just like,
yeah,
just
no,
yeah. Do you remember
exactly.
that image from the trailer? Yeah,
Exactly.
it's
Oh,
Spotify.
we're looking at this. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do is I'll just we're gonna obviously mute it due to slight YouTube reasons, and
Yes,
then
yes.
we'll just kind of stop at certain points,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of discuss it. So obviously we both watched the trailer. I'm guessing you have watched the trailer,
Yeah.
haven't you?
Oh wait, what? That's a
Yeah,
trailer.
there's a trailer.
Not Gonzalo,
Um,
like as we're like counting down to start the setup, is watching the thing on his phone because he could always late to watching
We're
everything.
gonna add a bit of extra
Mm.
spice to it because technically Lewis can't see what's on my screen, and I'm the one that's got it all up. So he's gonna have to
That's true.
watch the
I am
video.
I am watching it on another. I'm gonna follow along as best I
Yes.
can on this thing. Yes.
So what
Mm.
we'll do is we'll just kind of get onto this trailer and we'll just start.
Mm.
All right. So
Okay.
I want to talk about see that first scene. So literally that 1 second. The first
Okay.
time you
Well,
see
we're at
right,
one
no,
second.
no,
Oh,
but
already stopping.
what I love, right, is
Mm.
I love how this trailer because obviously the first Deadpool Wolverine trailer very much hinted at the end Wolverine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Weirdly, for a
Yeah.
film that's called Deadpool and Wolverine, they were like, right,
Mm.
we're gonna hide it. But that kind of first scene you get, very much reminiscent of how that Insomniac Wolverine trailer.
Yeah. I've seen. Yeah. It's like
You seen
literally it's
those
him at a bar.
comparisons?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's him.
So
I'm
it's
over at a bar. It's
yeah, no,
he's drinking beer.
he's going through it, and as we're seeing, like he's asking for another drink, and
Mm,
certain person pops up. So we're just for
mhm.
your clarity, Lewis, about 11 seconds in. What I
Okay,
was
okay, got you.
interested about this is the kind of because obviously they tease this later on in the trailer about this
Yeah.
Wolverine. The
Mhm,
bartender's kind of giving it "You're not welcome here" and all this kind of
mhm,
jazz. And you
mhm,
initially, when I first saw the trailer, I was like, "Oh, that's just classic Wolverine. He's not
mhm.
a bit of thing." But
Yeah.
because of what's kind of mentioned later on in the trailer, I'm like, "Oh shit, maybe this is actually maybe kind of
Like
related to."
so you think a world that's like what hates mutants and stuff here?
Oh no, maybe what hates
Mm.
him because of what was
Oh right, okay.
suggested
Well,
by
he let his world
his
die.
world down. Yeah, but and then
Mm.
obviously it just jumps back in our little Wade Wilson.
Well, let's say yeah. Well, obviously you get to the bit with the claws. The claws aren't working right
The
now.
classic
We
little
also get
DC humor
to
is there.
later. Yeah, yeah. We also get to later in the trailer though, because this is interesting, right? Because obviously Deadpool makes a joke about whiskey dick, right? Okay, oh,
Yeah.
you can't perform, when you're drunk, right? But I think it's definitely more than that. I think this is actually going to be something like, how Hulk, well, in Infinity War, Bruce Banner couldn't become the Hulk, because of some sort
I
of trauma and getting beaten by Thanos.
I
I think
well
it's going to be the same thing,
I actually
or
had a
something
little
along
bit
those
more
lines.
of a Spider-Man
Hmm.
2 kind of feeling in my
Right?
head.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Just to use a better quality of film. Actually, as I argue,
Okay, sure.
Infinity War is quite a good film.
Yeah.
I know, I agree. I mean, I love the joke where it was like the Wolverine's over 40. Just kind of get a bit of a
Yeah.
nudge, Hugh
Mhm,
Jackman's age.
mhm,
But yeah, no, I just have to say, right, that Deadpool
mhm.
suit. I thought the first
Looks great.
Deadpool suits were good
Mhm,
until
mhm.
I saw this, and I can now
This
say,
is great.
okay, yeah,
Mhm.
they're not as good as this one.
No,
100%.
it has to be said. Actually, I'll put this out there: the costumes from this trailer alone
Yeah,
are phenomenal. I think the
I
costumes are
mean,
actually fantastic.
kind of moving on, you get that kind of first scene of the Void where we get
Yeah,
our.
okay, yeah. Let's talk about this fight. So, is this the similar thing to in the Loki TV series where he gets put in
I'm
that with all the other
guessing
Lokis?
so
It's the same, but it's obviously it's visually
because
completely different.
we've got a 20th Century Fox logo at the back
Mm-hmm.
of that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. We
Yeah,
see, even through the trailer, also we get our first glimpse at Wolverine in his shiny yellow costume, which, by the way,
yellow suit. Yeah,
beautiful,
looks
beautiful
fantastic.
suit.
Yeah.
But I mean, the trailer kind of goes on to kind of once again, Wade talks about his friends, his family, and kind of
Mm-hmm.
something's going on. So there's obviously this kind of understory of the
Mm-hmm.
whole multiverse madness, whatever,
Well,
kind of going on.
so do we think they're going to go meta with it in the sense that it's going to be Deadpool's world is dying because it's being amalgamated into the MCU and like all the
I
Fox
think
stuff is falling apart?
I think there's gonna be something like that. Now, also, I don't know
Mm.
how the villain, Cassandra
Cassandra
Xavier,
Nova, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, kind of ties into everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen so many things. The issue is, right, and I don't know if this is a
Mm-hmm.
mistake on Marvel in general from having a very kind of scattered last few projects. I don't
Yeah.
really see where we're going with it. Whereas in
With this film in particularly, or
the in this film, but over the story
mm-hmm.
overall. Whereas like when we had the kind of Infinity Saga, we always kind of knew exactly where we were going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
Due to some legal issues that's
Mm-hmm.
happened to one of the stars that was meant to be the head honcho villain,
Yes, yes.
I'm a bit
Uh-huh.
like, what are we doing? Where is this
Mm-hmm.
going?
Where is
For a
this
long
going?
time, it
Right.
was like Kang Dynasty, and we're like, oh, it was, but then obviously,
Mm-hmm.
um, what was the
Jonathan
actor's name?
Majors is
Jonathan
Jonathan
Majors
Majors. Yeah.
got let go from Marvel Studios. So we don't know if they're going to recast, if they're going to change something up.
Mm-hmm.
We have no idea. So that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of me, kind of. I really don't know, and this is what I'm kind of a bit confused about. Because if you
Mm-hmm.
continue into the trailer, you see some stuff in the background. It's maybe like a crashed helicarrier of.
Well, also, yeah, I'm sorry. Because I mean, is that I couldn't tell if that is the CN Tower from Toronto,
I think it is
and
in the background.
like, why is that? Obviously, they make jokes about Canada and stuff,
Yeah,
but
I was gonna say because
um,
obviously Ryan Reynolds is Canadian, so I was gonna
mhm,
kind of assume
mhm,
that's a joke. And then we get
mhm,
that idea, and then we kind of like just after kind of Deadpool goes on about saving his world, we kind
mhm.
of get introduced to this
Well,
context about this Logan, where
yes,
he never
be
saved the
like you.
world. I mean, and we get
Yeah.
a very kind
Now,
of
what is
distraught
this
looking.
shot actually? Where is this? This is
I
the shot
think,
that's really confused with this trailer.
I think, is this
This
the?
field, the
I think
field with the
those are
big,
all
I think
graves.
graves, massive
I
graves. Okay.
I think these are the graves of the X Men that he
Mhm,
couldn't save in his world.
mhm. Are we going to
Just
assume then that Cassandra is the one who killed the X-Men in his universe?
yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna assume that
Mhm,
because then it will give this Wolverine
mhm,
very much a purpose, kind
mhm.
of coming back into
Yeah.
the superhero limelight, as you say. And we
Mhm.
also then get a lovely little cool scene with I can't remember who the character's gonna be called, but it's the boy from Succession. You see him in the
Yes,
first trailer.
yes.
He's talking
He's in the
to Wade.
TVA. Mhm,
He's in the TVA, talking about saying that how this Wolverine is rubbish and something like that. I think because
yeah.
obviously in that first trailer we're getting told that Wade's kind of job's to become the Jesus of the MCU, as the wee Joker goes, and he's going to bring it
Yeah.
together a team. I'm going to say
Mhm,
that Wade Ryan's going like, oh, I want Wolverine. Like I've always wanted Wolverine,
yeah,
and he's like, well, you
yeah,
can't have Logan because he's a Logan of Logan because he's dead.
yeah.
And there's
Mhm.
going to be a joke about how Kevin Feige told us to leave that film alone, and then
Yes,
he's
probably.
gonna go off and find this one, and then you're gonna go, no,
Mhm,
no, this one's crap, because
mhm,
this one
mhm.
let a world die.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm interested to see how it goes. I'm like I know I was really that was always the main concern when we first heard that Wolverine was coming back. I'm like, let's
Mhm.
not touch Logan. That was a great
Yeah,
film,
absolutely.
fantastic
Yeah.
ending. And I mean, this has always been the issue that we've said when it comes to the multiverse, because you can just go, here's another one,
Yeah, here's another one. Yeah, that's kind of the
you
thing.
know.
Yeah.
And I'm glad in this case they're doing it because I think it is a brilliant opportunity to have this kind of Wolverine and Deadpool storyline, or say storyline, um, film to actually have it.
Mhm.
And then
Well,
obviously,
here's the thing, right? Because I was kind of gonna say this towards the end, but I guess I'll just ask it now. Um, is this just a one and done for Hugh Jackman? Do we think?
oh, I'm gonna
Because
say
I
no.
think actually, really, okay. Because I don't know. It's a double-edged sword for Marvel. Okay, right. Okay, you get the hype and you get the money from Hugh
Yeah,
Jackman showing up again, especially in the yellow costume. He's in his what, mid-50s now. Um,
he's pushing it. Yeah,
and obviously you want to then make your own X-Men in however many years, whenever they plan to do that. And you've brought in the old Wolverine again. How's that going? Are you
yeah.
going to do an X-Men team without a
Well,
Wolverine
no,
in the future?
well. This is the thing, right? This is what I saw people
Mhm.
saying that Marvel had been testing with the X-Men '97 TV show,
Yes.
having
Which is a
Wolverine
good
not be the
show.
main
Which is a really
character.
good
Yeah,
show.
which is a really good show. I've only seen the first episode.
Yeah.
I really I want to go back into it. But that first
The
episode,
first
I'm like,
episode I think is the weakest one because that's the
well,
one where it has to be like, and here's such and
yeah.
such again, and this is
But
their
I have
powers,
to
and like, yeah,
admit,
we know, okay,
people
yeah.
were talking about the idea that Marvel are doing that, making testing
Hmm.
the waters again with a show that is
Hmm.
not Wolverine led, and
No,
to
not at
kind
all.
of,
He's like
I
the
mean,
he's not. He
it's
really is a
almost
side supporting character in
it's
that. Yeah.
almost like a tease in this because he was like,
Hmm.
"You were an X Man. You're the X Man," and I feel
Hmm.
like it's gonna be like a bringing him as a final hurrah to the Wolverine character as a
Hmm.
major X Men character.
Hmm.
We're gonna see Wolverine variants in this. Okay, there are
Okay.
rumors that a certain ex Superman actor is playing a Wolverine
Okay. All right.
variant
Okay. All right.
of
Okay.
some description, not
Hmm.
Brandon Roof, sorry.
Hmm.
Just gonna give you a clue there. But I think in the state of what Marvel is currently,
Hmm.
I would say that two actors who have recently came back
Hmm.
reprising their roles, one being Hugh Jackman, one being Tobey Maguire, will
Hmm.
be given blank checks for Secret
All
Wars.
right. Okay. That's
A
interesting.
100%. Mainly
Mm,
as
okay.
they need something because they've not done anything strong. They are. I am going to. I'm not predicting anything, but I'm not having much hope for New World Order, Captain America 4, and Thunderbolts asterisks.
What
I'm not
doing well successfully
doing well
critically
success.
by the fans anyway?
The only
Mm.
thing that I have enjoyment over is knowing that Harrison Ford's could be in it, not giving a shit. That's the only reason why I want to see
Yeah,
Captain America
I
4.
do like
Like,
to see Harrison Ford
no
not
doubt
giving a
about
shit. To be
it.
fair.
Um,
Mhm.
but anyway, I've just jumping back in the trailer. We're about the
Yeah,
kind
jump
of
back in. Mhm.
minute in where we're starting to see them fight in this void again. We're getting
Yes.
an amazing kind of let me I dare say cock shot of the claws straight into him, and I'm thinking, have you
Yeah.
seen the clip of the choreography and the comparison?
Yes, it's exactly the same as
It's the
Spider-Man
exactly
one.
so this
Yeah.
scene here I've just shown everybody is the exact same
Mhm.
of Spider-Man 1 where
I'm
it's
not saying.
Peter versus Flash.
Mhm.
Amazing. And I'm like,
But
there's
then,
no
of course,
it's not it's too similar.
it is exactly the same. Left, right, uppercut, and then obviously Wolverine
Yeah.
probably has enough and just goes for the balls. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and then, all right, so obviously, I reckon the diner scene is after
Yes,
post
that's where
fight.
we are.
Because Wolverine looks pretty rough there. Actually, he looks grey.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's
And
drunk or
then
something, but
we had
mhm,
Wade talking about it's like, oh, we're gonna have the backstory, or is this gonna be a third act flashback?
mhm,
You know,
mhm,
classic we Deadpool gig. But then we
mhm.
get to about the minute 12 mark where they're walking. We
Yeah,
have our
yeah.
sleeveless Wolverine.
The
Oh,
Madonna, I like that. I love that song.
The
Thank you,
Madonna, I
Brian.
absolutely
Mhm.
loved, and I
Uh,
just was like, this looks incredible. The two of them walking in the car,
they do look great. And look,
Deadpool's
I've
truly
seen
trying to
people
save something.
complain. People complain about the sleeves being gone. I love the fact he's not wearing the sleeves. I don't know. He looks
I think
cool
it's
without the
brilliant.
sleeves as well.
I also have to say that I'm kind of glad
uh,
they have hidden the cowl just a bit. I'm like, just tease us
yeah,
enough.
I
Give
wonder
us.
when they're going to use that in the film.
I think the cowl will be when he first puts on the suit and then he takes it off. Cause guys, I mean we're saying this, and I know Ryan Reynolds. It's a bit different with Deadpool because when he
Hmm.
ever has it off, it's just probably 4 hours of makeup underneath. So Ryan Reynolds probably actually likes keeping that mask on.
Yeah,
But
true.
you've got these actors who don't want to keep the masks on because
Mhm.
it's the money. They're the face. They're the stuff. How many times do we see the inside of Iron Man's suit?
Mhm.
The joke I always talked about, especially in
Uh,
Avengers Infinity or Endgame, is anytime the actors stop and they're having a chat, they take their helmets off. I'm like, that is not what you do in a war zone.
mhm.
You do not take your helmets off just so the camera can see you. You keep
But
that
for
metal tin
Wolverine,
can on.
he's
Yeah,
self healing. It's
he's
okay. But
self healing.
so we move ahead as well.
There's
Just a
a
few
clip here.
seconds to
Is this
one
when
thing
he's saying that?
or
Yeah, well, I'm just talking about the scene where he's saying, "Kid, I'm not a hero." I've heard
mm.
people saying that I've seen kind of theories that he's not talking to Wade here.
Yeah.
Who do you
I've
think
heard
he's
that as
talking
well.
to?
I have no idea, but I don't. It would be weird to call a grown man who's in his
I
40s kid. Uh,
I'm gonna say it's ex-Winfrey.
all right, so like what the same actor, Daphne,
Yeah,
who
yeah.
played
I
her in
think
Logan?
she'll
Okay.
be in. I think she's gonna be obviously quite moved because it's gonna be him,
Mm.
and she saw him as a
Oh, you
hero.
think it's gonna be the same one from Logan?
Yes, the same one that she saw her
Mm.
Wolverine
Right.
die. Then she comes to see this
Mm.
Wolverine, and it's him kind of explaining to her that he's not the Logan that she knew. He's a kind of a more
Mm.
broken version of that character.
Mm. Well,
Even though the Logan we
the,
saw
the
was
Logan,
pretty
no,
broken,
no.
but no,
He was the most broken.
more so, maybe more so that you know, obviously that Logan,
I
James
don't think it's
McAvoy's
going to be
Logan,
her. At least I don't think it's going to be her from that movie
her version,
because
have
I
that version.
they said I know obviously in reference to Hugh Jackman that they're not touching Logan, but I do believe that as a whole they're not touching that film.
It might be a
Well, I
different version of
bloody
X
hope
twenty
so
three
that they're
then.
not touching. If it's that, that's fine. I just
Mm-hmm.
really hope they're not touching anything from that film because that's his own thing, you know. It's his own
Yeah.
self-contained story, not connected to anything ever. Don't let it ever be connected to anything ever. Or it could be genuinely. There's hundreds of other X-Men characters who are children. It could be Jubilee or something. Like, I don't know. Genuinely,
Doubt it's
could so
Jubilee,
many
but
characters.
yes. So
Jubilee would fit right into a film like this, I think, because
from
her.
what I'm gathering where they're going, I don't see that being the case.
Right.
But
Okay.
it's just interesting. So
Yeah.
see, so obviously, kind of the 130 mark, they go back to kind of the shot of the two
Yes,
walking,
is the
right?
thing I wanted to point out. Yeah, with the
Where
claws.
are they?
What do you mean? Let's have a
Because
look
I'm
here.
like, it's not the void. I'm a bit
It is the
interested to
void. Like the
see.
20th Century Fox is right
No,
behind
no,
them.
at what 1 minute 30, the classic of those
Oh,
two
when
walking.
yeah. Oh yes. Where are we?
Exactly, that's
It
why
could
I'm a
be
bit
any side
intrigued.
street. It doesn't. It doesn't. It could be anywhere. Probably like
Yeah. Oh,
Vancouver or something where they shot.
yeah.
Where they did the first film.
So are we moving on to the claws?
Right. Yeah. Because obviously now we have these things on his knuckles now, and he was struggling to get the claws out earlier. So I'm
Oh,
presuming this is
oh.
something to aid him in getting his claws back out, whatever these. Because I mean, like we saw
Well,
earlier, it just comes from his skin. So why do we
mhm.
have these?
Well, obviously
I mean, it
that's
could just be so it doesn't cut his gloves or whatever. But
well,
I don't
well,
know. I think
no,
it's
these
also
things have
the
always been in the comics.
yeah I know, but not but
Yeah.
I know, but also they're coming out quite slowly as
Mm.
well. The claws, whereas he just boom boom they come out super fast. They're coming out quite slowly here, and I don't know if he's got something to help him get the claws out. I don't know. Viagra.
I don't think it's gonna be that. I think this is just once again them showing it. Look, this is a comic accurate costume. We
Yeah,
have
but
the
why
wee
is he getting the
nugget
claws out so slowly like that?
for
Hmm?
dramatic effects. Maybe Zack Snyder filmed this wee bit.
Yeah,
All
look,
right, maybe it's just slow
sure.
mo.
Yeah, okay, I get that, but I just mean,
I mean,
narratively
it
speaking,
is
Kyle, it
yes,
doesn't make sense to get them out that
yeah.
slowly, right?
And then you
Okay, sure,
obviously
could
you
do that.
jump to
Hmm.
Deadpool taking on some TVA agents, which looks to
Now,
be
why is he going to be killing TVA agents, even though he is apparently working for the TVA?
well, I mean, to be honest, I don't actually see the TVA. Do I see? Ah, no, I do see a TVA logo. Yeah, who knows, right? There could be a
Do they
classic that
want rid
he's
of this Logan?
maybe. It also may
Hmm.
then that a classic Deadpool starts doing the job for them, realizes that he wants to do something else, TVA turn on him, blah blah
Mhm.
blah blah. There may be some,
Yeah.
not every story's gonna be groundbreaking in like
Mhm.
narrative driven points. But then
Mhm.
we meet the villain,
Yes, Cassandra.
Cassandra. Now, our first kind of introduction for her here. Have you seen what is behind her in this trailer?
Yes, I've seen that she's got Charles's
It is
wheelchair.
it's a Charles wheelchair. Now, so anybody who doesn't know, Cassandra is in the comics Charles's evil twin sister.
Mhm. Mhm.
Have to make her bald just to kind of follow it as well. And we're
Just
introduced to
everyone knows.
Cassandra.
Yes.
And then there's obviously a bit more fighting. I think the fighting looks class, to be fairly honest.
Mhm. Yeah,
And
looks good.
then
Looks good. Looks good.
we
Uh-huh.
move on. There's
Obviously,
obviously a wee
you
bit
didn't
of a
mention
road
it,
trip
that
scene. Oh yeah, sorry.
that we're literally in Ant-Man's skull here, or do we get to
Well,
that
yeah.
part?
So if you move forward,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
obviously see Leviathan, right? And I don't know if you
Mhm.
notice when you get that scene. Do you see it's actually Ant Man's body on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know how his head's positioned with the
It's
rest
kind
of
of like
him, but yeah.
lying down, like almost like that. I would see.
Mhm.
So obviously, that's Leviathan from the Loki series, kind of giving us thing that
Mhm.
we're in this kind of void.
Yes,
Now,
the void.
getting
Yeah.
into the Ant Man skull, which I thought,
Mhm.
what better way to have a kind of villain layer than being into the
Mhm.
skull of Ant Man,
Yeah.
especially whose latest film wasn't the best.
Mhm.
But just kind of at that scene with the kind of masks opening up the skull, there are a lot of characters here that's really
Mhm.
incredible. You've got Deathstrike just at the left there with the long adamantium nails from X2,
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure.
Yes. 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 Yeah.
Two second to the left, you got Toad from X1, and then you
Oh my
got
God.
Azrael
All the way
from
back.
First Class. And
Mhm.
then we know from the first trailer that the character sitting on that kind of big looking car to the right is obviously Pyro from the second and third X Men films.
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, I'm enjoying the kind of blending of everybody together. I think that's going to be kind of fun.
Mhm.
I just think that kind of Ant Man skull is just brilliant. I'm not gonna lie. We're getting some kind of wacky cars. It looks like we're getting a almost a Mad Max looking car later on
Inspired by Mad Max, sure.
in Spider-Man's. We get our first look at Dead Dog at about the 1 minute
Yeah.
56 mark, which I'm like, and we know that we're going to get a few Deadpool variants as well. Yes, we have
Alright,
this
okay,
really
cool.
bizarre looking Mad Max ride, which I think is just hilarious. More Deadpool and Wolverine fighting, we car journey, and then you have a wee bit of a fight with Cassandra and Logan. Just looks
Here's the thing,
absolutely
right, with the
chaos.
X-Men movies, right? Obviously, Magneto was the biggest villain, on the original trilogy,
Yes,
um, and even in Days of Future Past and whatever. Wolverine has just barely had like a good physical opponent to fight because everyone has always got telekinetic powers against him, so he
I
can't do
know.
anything.
Are
So like,
some kind of
where's
side.
where's the even fight? Like,
Yeah, and then
it's just
obviously
happening again. Yeah.
we have them going, let's fucking go, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
And for me personally, the worst part of this trailer is them jumping
Uh,
through uh
a
Doctor
Doctor
Strange
Strange
style
portal,
portal
or
at the end.
why is that the worst part for you?
Mainly because of people's reactions to it. Because I know that I
Right, everyone's
think
like,
this film
mhm.
will be more Multiverse of Madness than Multiverse of Madness. I see
Right,
this
okay,
film.
okay,
I see this
yeah,
film being the cameo fest that everybody thought that film was going to be.
right, okay, I see. And
And
what this is kind of just proving that.
well, no, this is
Mm,
this is. I thought this was going to be more of a 20th Century Fox cameo fest. I
mm.
am pretty convinced that we will see the returning of Chris Evans, but as
What? No.
I think he'll come as Human Torch, and I think that will be the joke. I
Mm,
think he's going to
yeah,
return in
maybe.
this film, but as the Human
Mhm.
Torch from that original 2006, 5.
That's the thing, like, yeah, I can't, yeah, I think you're probably right in the sense that in comparison to everyone thought Doctor Strange was going to be that cameo fest. Yeah, because I could see it this being that because obviously Deadpool is such a self-referential meta character that he can comment on all
If
these things to make
any
jokes.
if any
Mhm.
actor genuinely has the power to bring actors
Mhm.
together, I have to say I think it's Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, probably. Is he not the highest paid actor in Hollywood now? Something
I
like that.
think
I think he's one of,
I
if
think he'll
not
be
the
one of
highest.
definitely because I mean
Mhm. Mhm.
there's rumors that Taylor Swift will appear in the film, and
No
it's
way. No
oh
way.
his wife Blake
Oh my
Lively and
god.
her are very close friends.
Wow. Jesus.
And
Well,
apparently Blake Lively might
yeah.
actually be playing the female equivalent of Deadpool, the
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
lady pool.
Um, mhm.
Um, I and now I have to admit, now, did you ever see the Adam Project, the Sean Levy film that Ryan
I
Reynolds
never
did with
watched
him?
it, no. No.
I thought it was a lovely sci-fi flick, time traveling
Mhm.
sci-fi. I would have given it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was fun. I thought it was
Mhm.
enjoyable. It was obviously a bit of a not harsher budget because obviously it was a Netflix one. But I don't think they had the resources to do the CGI to the
Mhm.
ability that they could have. Right, that's all I'm saying. There
Mhm.
were some bits that are a wee bit, ugh. But I think Sean Levy is actually going to give a really great Deadpool film, and I think him and Ryan
Mhm.
Reynolds get on really well. I think they jive really well together. So
Mhm.
this is kind of giving me
Okay.
hope
Yeah.
for this film, even though
Mhm.
if I had seen the trailer for this film maybe a year or two ago,
Mhm.
I would have been like, oh,
Mhm.
not again, not again.
Mhm.
But mainly because of the actors in it, the kind of crew behind it, the slight
Yeah.
possible desperate, you know, how desperate Marvel Studios might be for getting a
Mhm.
hit in.
Mhm.
I feel this will be ridiculous, and I think it will be what everybody come to expect or wanted from a
Mhm.
multiverse kind of madness sort of film. And I do
Ah.
see
Ah.
them
Mhm.
making their way into the mainline MCU because I think
Of
it will
course.
be what they need. I saw somebody. There's a great tweet I saw that. What if this portal was them going into the end game battle and then they were just there the
Mhm.
entire time? I thought that would be
Yeah, we
funny.
didn't.
That would
Uh-huh.
be actually quite a humorous kind of scene. I'm interested, right? I am really
Mhm.
interested to see what they're doing here
Mhm.
because I think this is going to give us the most answers to what's happening in the MCU in a
Yeah,
long
because also
time.
Deadpool can also literally just break it down for you as
Uh
well.
huh. Which
He
I
can
think he
just,
might do.
literally tell the audience
I
what's
see
going
this as
on.
something that will happen. I see this as
Mm.
he might actually go,
Now,
oh,
here's
we've got
here's
this
the
happening.
interesting thing. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I get that. The thing is, which is the only thing this film, I mean, look, the thing is though, this film is R-rated, which confuses me a little bit. I mean, it's fine for us, great, the gorier, more obviously Deadpool, rude humor. But what, and obviously, we're seeing this multiverse stuff. We're seeing the portals and the TVA and everything else, which has me is like, but families can't. I mean,
Right.
obviously, in the States, their rating system's messed up, so you can bring children to see this if they're with parents. I don't understand how
Here,
that works. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something.
Mm.
They've done this with Deadpool 2. They
Hmm.
made a PG version.
Did that happen?
They did
Did that
it.
get made?
It was a Christmas version of Deadpool 2, and it was
Right, but
just
that
a
came out
12.
later on. That
It
didn't
came
come
out
out
late.
at the
No, it
right.
came out. It
Okay.
did came out later on. I give you
Mhm.
that. But I do see them thinking that it might be something that they just chuck on.
On Disney Plus, a
Hmm
PG-13 version of
I don't
this.
know.
The-
It's something that I'm
It's
just
just
like.
weird to me that you can't have all your fans because obviously a lot of the fans will be under. I can't remember what R is in the States, if it's 15 or 17 or something,
But
or under 15,
yeah,
17
right.
can't go see the film.
Yeah, yes and
And
no. But
these.
I
uh
wonder how many people because obviously we've seen that R-rated films can do well. Joker,
Oh no! I mean, this
your
film will
favorite
do.
film of all
This
time.
film will do.
So
This film will break $1 billion. I think.
easily,
I think after this
easily.
trailer, I think this film will easily break $1 billion.
Question: when
But
does
uh,
Despicable Me 4 come out? Are they going to be competing with
uh,
it?
well, thankfully one's R-rated and one's going to be youth certificate, so they will not have a problem in terms of crossing over the audience. They're both
What
in July.
are they both in July? When is July 3rd?
Yeah.
Right, they've got a few weeks. They've got about 3 weeks between them, so we're okay.
Oh, there you go. Even so, I mean, I'm sure all the big middle-aged Minion fans will thankfully not have to spend both weekends seeing these films. But yeah, I
No.
just find that interesting because it is R-rated. But look, I really am of two minds of this because I did enjoy this trailer more than I thought I would actually. I also like that the void or wherever they are, for the most part, is them in a desert in California or something, or some
Yeah.
canyon. They're actually there. Uh, I also, I just like Hugh Jackman as well. He just is Wolverine, and I really want the film to just be about the relationship between him and Wade, and I really hope it focuses on that. But I'm also of the mind of, well, it's Marvel, and they want to make a big hit, and they're going to have cameos and jokes and stuff. And look, I'm not even the biggest Deadpool fan. Like, I think Deadpool 1's okay. Wasn't a big fan of Deadpool 2. It's not like the humor is like a bit just like it's always so self-referential and just like Ryan
Hmm.
Reynolds, sweary and stuff like that. So I really
I
hope
I
Deadpool Wolverine
agree.
brings a different dynamic to this. Uh huh.
I agree. What I will
Mhm.
say is obviously we seem to have these kind of the restauranty scenes or the kind of diner
Mhm.
scenes, which I think will
Yeah.
be a big kind of moment for the two of them. But also, once
Mhm.
again, I'm going to give it hope because of Ryan Reynolds, because of how desperately he's wanted to make a proper Deadpool and Wolverine film. That
Mhm.
he has the power behind these films. I know everybody says Kevin Feige
Mhm.
was, but I am confident he has the power, and he will have made sure that yep, we can have this ridiculous part, but it is going to be. He's always said it's going to be a Deadpool Wolverine road trip film. We've seen
Mhm.
that they've got scenes of them just in this diner. They've got scenes of them just
Mhm.
fighting. They've got scenes of them in the car alone. I think that's going to give us plenty of time to have like a
Mhm.
bonding moment over them, with the whole idea that one of them wants to save the world that they live in. One of them
Mhm.
didn't save the world that they lived in. And I
Mhm.
think that's going to be how they
Yeah.
kind of join together.
I
I
hope
have
so. I
hope.
hope
I
so.
have hope because of the
Mhm.
actors behind it. Nothing, no other Marvel film. Maybe like somebody like Robert Downey Jr. maybe had more pull, but I don't think any other Marvel actor would have had much pull behind the scenes
Yeah.
as
Then
say
Ryan.
Ryan Reynolds or like I said
I think
RDJ back when he did
Ryan Reynolds is
Iron Man.
probably a producer on this. I imagine.
Oh, I think he's been a producer since day one.
I mean,
He
he's kind of the one who got it off the ground, didn't he?
yeah, there's no proof that he leaked it.
Mhm.
There's no proof that he leaked that
Yeah,
all the way
sure,
back.
sure, 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 sure.
I don't know what you're talking about. That's pretty rude of you to say. I'm gonna just double check. I'm pretty
Anyway,
sure he's a
let's move on. That was our our trailer breakdown for Deadpool Wolverine.
yes.
Also, I like the fact I also just like how plain the title, as simple the title is, it's just Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean
why I hope it
easy.
focuses on those two. Simple. Nothing,
By the
colon
way, yeah,
something something something.
July
Yeah,
26th, I
July
believe.
26th.
I'm buzzing. I am buzzing. I'm actually hyped
Oh,
now.
good,
I
good.
like. There's a few films that I'm
Okay.
like, right, I can now be excited for.
Mhm.
So I'm good.
And
Anyway,
one of them's Deadpool Wolverine. Yes,
sports.
sports films. Anyway, sports films. Yes, Challengers is releasing this weekend, so we're going to talk about some sports films, Kel. Now, obviously, we spent a lot of time on that trailer thing, so I kind of just wanted. I've kind of got three that I guess I'll very quickly rattle through, as sort of my favorites. Actually, four, but four is quite similar to one of them. So right, uh, so I
You
think
go
I will
for it.
just okay, okay, good. So I think the one I want to start with is Moneyball, Brad Pitt's Moneyball. Now, have you seen Moneyball, Kyle?
No, and I think you're gonna be shocked because obviously I know the premise of it, and it's something that's right
Yes.
up my street, but I have not seen it,
Mhm.
and I don't know why.
It's
I'm gonna get up a
uh,
couple of films that I have seen, but yeah, sorry, continue.
yeah. And you'd love it because it sounds much like The Social Network. On paper, it sounds pretty dull. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds okay. Really, story about making Facebook. This is just like this is behind the scenes of baseball player transfers, and basically, so there's this Oakland A general manager who's Billy Bean, and has to make. He's trying to attempt to assemble this baseball team on a really really low budget, and he gets this computer generated analysis to sort of acquire these players, and the analysis played by Jonah Hill and Peter Brand. I think he was nominated for an Oscar for this. Actually, he's really good in it, and Brad Pitt as well is fantastic. And that's the thing. One, I've never watched a game of baseball in my life. I mean, it's obviously not even a sport here to watch in the UK.
No, no, it's really
So
very,
no,
very
no,
East Coast
practically nothing.
American actually. It's not even
Yeah,
that big in the
yeah,
West.
and I mean, here we call it rounders, which is just a version of baseball. We don't even call it baseball. I don't know why we call it rounders, but hey,
We go around it.
so I know.
That's why.
Uh-huh. You go round, yeah, exactly. It makes sense. um, and yeah, it was. I remember watching it one night on Netflix because it was just on my watch list. I was like, oh, I've heard good things.
Yeah,
Fuck it, I'll put it on. And it's so engrossing. It's brilliant, and also it can also be like attributed to many sports across the world as well, which I find it so fascinating. Is the idea that you can because I mean, there's so many sports teams in the world. I mean, you look at the like clubs like Man City or Real Madrid in football, who just have the bank account to do and buy whoever they want, and also get the
yeah,
best coaches and get the best sport facilities and just win everything, right? And I love that idea. It's a proper underdog story. Two people who really deduce how do we make the best team with what we've got, and I won't spoil the ending or anything like that, but the way it goes as well is just it's so investing and like for a sport I don't watch, I was really into it.
yeah,
It's like I've got that proper. That's the thing about Moneyball. It's like it goes into sure the technicalities and finances of things, which doesn't
yeah,
sound very interesting, but it is delivered in very interesting ways, and also it has that underdog spirit. It has that whole spirit behind it of you want them to win because they have nothing. And at the very start of the film, when they had this sort of like meeting in this sort of like dingy room, it just kind of shows you, and they just kind of like all these other members. I don't know if it's part of the board or other higher ups in the team are just kind of
uh-huh.
discussing. It's like, oh well, what are we gonna do this year? Oh, well, like this is what we've got. Yeah, they're all just so down because they just expect to just
It's
lose. They
just not going to
expect to
go
not
well.
go
Yeah.
anywhere. Yeah, it's just going to be another year of just drudgery, and that's it.
Mm.
And then Brad Pitt comes and is like, no, no, we're not doing that this year, and it's just great. Also, a very early Chris Pratt in his earlier days,
What year is this? Is
playing
this
playing
2012?
2011.
2011. Wow,
So
that is early Chris Pratt
yeah,
days.
um, as well. And yeah, just the performances across the board. I love Jonah Hill's character. He seems so unlike a Jonah Hill you've really ever seen before. Very reserved, seems just like kind of shy. And he's great. He's brilliant. So Moneyball is my first one. And now can I go two on this one because they
Right.
are kind of in the same sort of field, and I want to talk about The Wrestler and The Iron Claw, which just came out this year. Um, the Wrestler. Okay, the thing is though with these ones, this is why I kind of don't really include the wrestlers because sure it's got wrestling and it's a sports film, but it's really about addiction and being beyond your years. There's not much wrestling in it, so I wouldn't really call it a very cheerful sports film. And sort of similarly with the Iron Claw, the wrestling scenes are fantastic in it, but once again, while it is under the guise of wrestling, it's a very very heavy film about
It's more of
pain
a
and
family
loss
story, isn't it? Yeah.
and about family and toxic masculinity
From
and
what I
sort of
know, I've not actually seen either of
you've
those.
not seen it. You really
Or
should watch it because I think you would really like it. But
The Iron Claw. Yeah.
it's a really heavy watch, a really distressing watch as well. But it's very engrossing and also really tackles sort of the dark side of sports as well. Much like the wrestler as well, kind of has that too. Things like substance abuse, in terms of because you're constantly being pushed to your physical limits every single night, every weekend, and sort of having to sort of what that does to a person, what that pushes them to. It
Yep.
deals with that sort of heavy stuff as well, and just the pressures of like family and coaches and what's expected of you to be as well in the sporting world. So, in terms of sporting films, it's not uplifting really.
Yeah.
It's very very heavy, but it sort of tackles the sort of darker side of sports, and same with sort of the wrestler. Both wrestling films, kind of, but it's sort of like how like Raging Bull is a sports film, but that is about you know abusive relationships and just
Yeah.
this a truly reckless, horrible man. Uh, like, sure, some of the boxing scenes are really beautifully shot
Yeah.
and still are like inspired so much today, even like things like Creed 3. But it's not really a boxing film, so I kind of
Is
throw those two
is it
in
hard
together.
to say,
Uh-huh.
right, or is it fair to say how many sport films are actually about the sport rather than like understood?
The
Because obviously you
sport
said
itself.
Moneyball is more about the stuff behind it. These films, even
Hmm.
looking at um $1 Million Baby, that starts about
Yeah.
boxing, but then kind of leads into something else. We
Yeah,
have
exactly. Yeah.
films like, I don't know,
Even
Coach
Field of
Carter,
Dreams is
Field
what's
of
that? What's that?
Dreams, Coach
Oh,
Carter.
Field.
You like
Yeah, exactly. Like Field of Dreams
it,
is like not really about baseball, but kind of about baseball.
we're exactly.
Yeah.
You've got films like that.
Mm.
You have then films like Bend It Like Beckham, where it's like one's a
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
acceptance
Field of
as
Dreams,
well.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Happy Gilmore. That's actually a sports film when
Happy
you
Gun
think
was a
about it.
fantastic sports film,
That's that.
But
That's a sports film when you
uh-huh.
think about it.
But that's the thing. What kind of make and I kind of this is kind of the main one I want to talk about because it's not sure it has dark moments, but overall it's probably the most thrilling and most high octane of all the sports films. Talking about here,
Cool
and that is
Runnings.
2013's. Oh yeah, sure, yes, you're right. No, that's it. That's the best sports film. Absolutely, Kyle.
Well, it's there's no
Well, I
doubt.
know, sure. No, it's Ron Howard's 2013's Rush. Have you seen Rush? About these Formula One drivers in the
That's
1970s.
the one with Chris Evans, isn't it?
Chris Hemsworth and
Darren Zemo. Baron
Zemo.
Zemo. What is his name?
Yeah,
Oh my god, that's terrible. I don't know. Daniel.
Daniel, Daniel Bro, yeah,
Daniel.
Daniel Bro,
Yeah.
who plays Nicky Lauda.
Mm-hmm.
So once it now this kind of encapsulates what the perfect kind of sports film is, right? You have two rivals, right? There's not really an ad. There's not. It's, one's not really. They're both protagonists. They're both antagonists at the same time. It's two rivals going head to head with each other to sort of who is the best in the Formula One field. Now, Ron Howard, right, has made some absolutely terrific films in his time. Apollo 13, Beautiful Mind, including
Yes.
this as well, Rush. I don't think he's really made a great film since this, sadly. But I mean, well, Solo's okay for what he had to do and sort of salvage that
Solo's
film.
fine.
Yeah, so for what he had to salvage, I guess, but a very
Yeah.
weird pick that they picked Ron Howard. But yeah, now look, this before like Mad Max Fury Road or Top Gun Maverick, the driving sequences in this film alone are so thrilling, so engaging. And once again, Formula One, a sport I don't find interesting at all. I
Yeah.
really don't. I've tried to watch it. Formula One has this niche fan base that just are all obsessed with it. Plenty of my friends are obsessed with Formula One. Really get into it. It's not my cup of tea. I really
But
don't find it that
yeah.
engaging at all. But Rush, oh my god! Maybe if every Formula One race was filmed like this, absolutely, I'd watch it every year because it's terrific. It's so engaging. And now I know actually Joseph Krasinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, is doing a Formula One film as his
All
next
right.
project. So interesting crossover there that's going to happen. I really hope maybe that could be the one that tops Rush in terms of its racing scenes. Even like Le Mans 66, which to be fair, another solid sports film.
Well, I was about to say, would we consider that a sports film?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's racing and stuff, it's sport.
It's hard to determine what, like in my head. Do you know a
What
film
is
I
it? What
watched?
is a
I
sport?
remember. Well, no,
Darts.
yeah, but I watched as a child. Like I remember seeing this, watching this film weirdly because I was on DVD. Wimbledon. You know the Kirsten Dunst,
Yes,
Paul.
yes, the Kristen
I've
Dunst
seen
film.
that
Yeah.
film. I don't know what it's about because I think I saw it like it was 15 years ago. But I just know that I've seen
Yeah.
that film and it was about tennis and John Favreau's in it as well. That's all I know about that film. As you can tell, I probably
Yeah.
don't watch many sports films. Not
Clearly,
being a sports
clearly. But look,
person.
what else is I'll quickly say about Rush? Like it just purely on that rivalry dynamic, I think one of Chris Hemsworth's best performances as well as Daniel Brühl. There is like serious stakes involved with this. People get put in
Yeah.
pretty perilous situations. It's just the also it looks the part. It looks like a 70s sort of 70s film. I really love that sort of the rivalry dynamic in Rush, and like I said, the sequences are just really
Yeah.
thrilling to watch. Two great lead performances. Rush is a weird one because I saw it. I remember seeing it in cinemas 11 years ago now, right? Crazy. Oh my god, I still remember it like it was yesterday. Me and my friends went to see it, and we were just all so engaged. And I don't really understand how Rush isn't like a bigger film than it is. Like it really deserves to be. I think it's an absolutely
It's
terrific
on.
watch.
I've seen it on Netflix a few times. Well, no, sorry, I've seen
I
it
don't know
on
if
there.
it's
I've
still
never
on
watched
Netflix.
it.
To be fair, I don't know if it's still on
I'll
Netflix. I
try
mean, you
and
can get it
watch
on
it.
Amazon,
Yeah, I've
but
got the
it's a great
time now,
watch.
so I can
Great watch.
definitely try and maybe
Mm.
diversify my sports films to
Sports
more
film,
than
yeah.
one.
Right, okay, what will be some of your pick or picks then?
I'll have to with the Creed films because I've seen the Creed films.
Oh, there
I think
we
those are kind of.
go.
Yeah, I know I
Yes,
have seen all
absolutely.
three Creed films now. I actually have.
Mhm.
I'm gonna just because I don't have much to say because I can't remember these films because I've not. I didn't know this was the thing. I've been doing exams. I'm not prepared at
Yes,
all,
I know.
which is why I suggested
That's
the
why this on
Deadpool
Kyle
thing.
today. Yeah.
Um, Cool Runnings, I do love as a film. I think that is
Mhm.
classed as it's the Olympics. We'll class that as a sports film. I enjoyed
It's
that.
a sport, yeah. It's bobsleighing is a sport,
It
yeah.
is a sports film.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think in my head what else I've
Mhm.
seen. Like I maybe said, Coach Carter, maybe even if we kind of
Mhm.
class that as a film.
Mhm.
Um, what else classes as a sports film that I've seen? This is really really bad from me, man. Oh my god. Oh, aha! Phantom of
Sort
the
of his
Open.
favorite one. Oh yeah, okay, the golf one.
Give you that. I'm gonna give you that. Please give me that because that's all I have in my
Okay, I'll
head.
go. Yeah, that is a sports film.
Um,
Yes,
no, I
by all
really
means,
like
of
Phantom of the
course.
Open. That was a really, really funny film. Sadly,
Mhm.
we got interrupted halfway through that film. I'm pretty sure.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
the projector
fire
board.
alarm
Forgot
went
about
off.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
No,
loved it. Yeah.
that's a really good fun film. Made me actually enjoy
Mhm.
golf for about 5 minutes. Who
That and
else?
Happy Gilmore.
Yes, Happy Gilmore. Obviously, that's a 10
Mhm.
out of 10 sports film.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, right. I've got it.
Mhm.
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid, of course.
The
Absolute
Karate Kid.
classic. That is
Right,
Karate Kid.
I'm taking that
Which
one
one?
because
Sorry,
that's a
which one?
sport.
Were you talking
Well,
about the?
the original, obviously.
I don't know.
Sweep
You
the
couldn't be a
leg,
big
sweep the
Jaden
leg,
Smith,
Johnny.
Jackie Chan defender of that one.
That's not correct. Well, I'm gonna wait until this amazing crossover film comes out this year, maybe, or is it next year?
Yeah,
Remember
I think it's this
remember they're
Christmas.
doing it.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
this year. Yeah.
that's gonna be my top one for the film. Actually, I should have
Mhm.
changed my. Can I go back and change my most anticipated film? This this insane Karate Kid crossover that we never thought we are gonna give.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Karate Kid. I think they're fun films and they kind of obviously build up that karate is the most important thing in this small valley. Any
Yeah.
conflict,
Oh.
as we've discussed by the expanded lore and universe, can
Oh
be
man.
solved by
Mhm.
karate. If you've
We'll
not
actually get
watched
into Cobra
Cobra
Kai.
Kai, please go watch Cobra
Mhm.
Kai. It's the greatest thing ever. It is,
Yeah.
and it's ending this year, which makes me upset.
Mhm. I mean,
But yeah, no,
with Karate Kid, I mean, it's very classic '80s sports bully
very
rivalry,
80, yeah, isn't it?
underdog
Yeah.
story. Uh-huh. Um,
Have you
I
seen
mean,
any
like,
American football sports films? Like, I feel that's a big one that I've just avoided or something like that.
why am I struggling to think of any?
The Game Plan with The Rock is probably the
Oh my
closest I
God,
can
maybe the
think
game.
of.
Um, no, I don't actually think I've really watched many American football ones because I really kind of don't really care about that sport.
Hmm.
More, yeah. I mean, maybe there was a the Sandra Bullock one. I forget the name
The
of.
Blind Side.
Yeah, which apparently is now that's just like was like
Yeah, I think that film got
isn't he?
cancelled somehow.
Yeah, I think the guy's like suing them over that the who it's based
Yeah,
off of.
apparently he was more
Uh,
used or anything in the film.
yeah,
Though
yeah.
the
I've
Karate Kid, I
really
think,
seen.
it soared the kind of karate scene in the 80s, especially in the kind of
Mhm.
states. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
alongside, it was almost like the child's version of Rocky
hmm
at the time. I would
Yes,
say.
yeah. That's a good example. That's a good way to do it. I know. We don't really discuss Rocky. It was just because I thought Rocky was kind of like a given
Rocky's
as one
Rocky,
of the
you
best
know.
sports films. You know, yeah. um. But I mean, you brought up the Creed stuff, and like we've actually did we? Oh, we did a Ryan Coogler episode where we talked
We
about
did a
Creed, of
Ryan
course.
Coogler, and then we did a Creed 3 episode, which I think we then talked a bit about Creed 2 as
Yes,
well.
yes.
I think we obviously talked about that in the Ryan Coogler episodes as well.
But
Yeah,
like
no.
Creed to me is like the second best Rocky film, and it was one of very close to my almost my favorite Ryan Coogler film as well.
Mm.
Um, once because it's just it does that thing where we're it's not really kind of taking a bit from the first Rocky film, but kind of in a different dynamic. Um, really looking at the human side of the boxer behind it and
Yeah.
sort of his entire rise up the ranks. Yeah, I thought Creed was great. All the relationships feel very natural as well, and obviously dealing with Rocky and sort of the cancer thing is actually this really uplifting relationship between Creed and Rocky, which I really loved. And that was kind of the thing. It was sort of because obviously the Rocky franchise went way overboard and crazy over the top.
Jump the
When you get
shark,
to
one
things like
might
Rocky,
say. Yep.
yeah, yeah, you can say that with Rocky 4 and even 5, and then they kind of had to bring it back down with Balboa and then Creed. Um, this just like I think the writing between the relationships just and the interpersonal dynamics just really are what absolutely bring that film together. And
Yeah.
also, much like when we're talking about what makes these great sports, you got to talk about the actual sports scenes and that the one shot uh,
Fight.
boxing fight in
Yeah.
Creed is just terrific. Uh-huh. And the final fight as well. Great boxing scenes, absolutely.
If I can
And
think of
that's
any.
been kind of the consistent thing with the Creed series is the boxing scenes have always been very very good. Especially when you get to Creed 3 and that sort of final fight
Yeah.
um, between
I'm
him
just
and
I'm just I'm just looking I'm just scrolling
Jonathan
through
Majors'
some.
character. Hmm.
Oh, right. 42.
I haven't seen 42.
Have you not? That is a great
Mm-hmm.
film. Obviously, that is
Mm-hmm.
the Chadwick Boseman, Jackie Brown,
Mm-hmm.
Jackie Brown, I think he
Yeah.
is, boxer. No, baseball player. I'm just going through the scene. There's a lot here, right? That I'm like, these are a lot of American ones that I've clearly
Mm-hmm.
never watched.
Mm-hmm.
Um, King Richard, technically a tennis film.
Yeah, King Richard. Yeah, it was decent. Yeah. The thing
Chariots
is,
of
you know what I find
Fire.
funny?
We never thought about that one, did we? Did we mention Chariots of Fire? Did you
No,
mention
no,
Chariots of
actually, we
Fire?
didn't talk about Chariots of Fire. You know what I find funny about sports films though? See, when it comes to like really big critical acclaim and like awards things, it's never the
Uh,
sport you think it would be. It's like I'm saying, wrestling or it's
yeah.
boxing. Okay, boxing is not what it used to be, but back in the day, I guess that was one of the most popular sports. But things like tennis or soccer in the states, but football here, even
Dodge,
American football,
dodgeball, a true story.
technically a sports film. Yeah, the major sports kind of don't really have like a huge sort of like big like the magnum opus that is considered like the one that brought like critical acclaim. It's always the other sports that are kind of outside the central sphere. Um, Which I find quite fascinating, actually, that's kind of the case.
Somebody
But
put Air down as a sports film.
no,
I
not
think that's I
really.
think
It's mm,
that's scraping the barrel a wee bit, I would say.
yeah, that is scraping the bottom of the barrel. That is the way to put it. But anyway, Kyle, shall we sign off here?
I would say we sign off there. I do apologise for not knowing any sports films.
That's
Oh,
okay. You didn't have time to prep.
Gran Turismo, based
What?
on the true story.
Oh, well, there you go. Gonzalo would have absolutely picked that one. He adores that
I've
film.
not seen
So,
that, of course I haven't.
anyway, thank you very
Nice.
much, Kyle, for joining me.
You're welcome. Sorry I couldn't have been more help when it came to the sports, but anyway.
No worries, no worries. And I was going to say thank you, Gonzalo, but he's not here.
In our hearts.
On next week's episode, so something we are going to be talking about challengers next week. We are going to have a review for challengers.
We
Maybe
are.
that will be tennis's magnum opus film. Outside of like King Richard, which I suppose Will Smith won his Oscar for that, and don't want to talk about that anymore. But maybe that will be the tennis's
Yeah.
flagship film from now on. But we'll talk about that next week, and we'll just give our opinion on all those sport films plus our breakdown of Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, those were our unwanted opinions. Thank you very much.